Oh, I didn't know. I can feel the stream of abundance approaching me because things that have never happened to me before are beginning to show up. So I know my vibration around money is improving, and there's no end to what that improvement will be. And it's going to be fun for me over the next days to watch different evidences showing me that I'm really sniffing out the trail of abundance. And I accept that 99% of every creation is complete before I see any physical evidence. And so it's all right if it doesn't flow right into my hands this red hot minute. I can be patient here a little bit. I've learned to settle in here, and I'm all right in waiting for this. And I'm actually beginning to feel my impatience turning to a little bit of eagerness. It's going to be exciting to watch the way the universe displays to me in a way that is meaningful, where I can consciously recognize that my energy is shifting. And I can feel that even in this conversation that I'm having with myself, that I'm moving systematically into that stream of money that I'm wanting. And I'm not asking for it to come all at once, although it can. I'm asking it to come through my crack of least resistance, which I'm working on right now. And it's exciting to me to anticipate the adventure and the surprises and the ways in which it will flow. And I'm appreciating already my knowledge about my own guidance system, and I'm appreciating my understanding of the law of attraction. And I'm appreciating the people that are showing in a demonstrating way that abundance can flow into their experiences. And I'm looking forward to meeting people who can tell me their stories about how they were in desperate straits not very long ago, and then money began to flow. And I like hearing from them, especially the part where they say, I can't believe that it was always there for me, or I have the sensation of, oh, where have you been all along? In other words, it's an interesting thing to be on one side of the manifestation in one moment and on the other side of the manifestation in the other moment. And I'm looking forward to breaking through that. But in the meantime, I'm happy to be on this side of the manifestation because I'm feeling better and better and better. I've improved my life in so many different ways, and I'm eager to begin to see the stream of money flow into my experience. I know that I'm worthy of it. I know that that's not what the question is. I know now that I've just been a little bit vibrationally out of whack, and I can feel that conversations that I'm having with myself like this are bringing me vibrationally into alignment. I'm understanding that my work is this emotional journey. It's not about getting out there and beating the pavement. It's not about finding the vortex, the specific vortex through which the money will flow. I don't want only one specific vortex. I want many vortexes to open. I want to be the focal point where enormous sums of money begin to flow into my experience. I have activated my imagination. There's no end to my ideas of what I will do with this stream of money. It's great fun. I love the idea of playing the game where I'm spending the money. I love the sensation of the money being in my pocket, and I love the sensation of expressing it out there into the universe, and I love the economy that I benefit as I hire one more to do one more thing, or as I buy one more thing and bring it home. But most of all, I enjoy the sensation of freedom. And it's interesting to note that I am having that sensation of freedom right now, even though my dollars have not changed at all in this moment. I've broken through the emotional journey. I can feel that I've cleaned up my vibration. I'm much closer. Maybe 70% of that 99.99 is in place. I'm willing to play this game. Who wouldn't want to play this game? It's exhilarating to play this game. It's life-giving to play this game. I could play this game all day, every day. Oh, wouldn't it be nice if I have that? Won't it be nice when I have that? Won't it be nice if I have that? I feel such appreciation for the abundance that's flowing into my experience. There's abundance that's coming to me in so many ways. I have the abundance of clarity. I have the abundance of stamina. I have the abundance of health. I have the abundance of friends. I have the abundance of so many things. And now the universe is getting ready to give me the abundance of dollars, the abundance of being able to prove to myself that I am in alignment with all that I want, and that it is true that there is nothing that I cannot be or do or have. That's what I want most of all, I say to the universe. I want personal acknowledgement that there is nothing that I cannot be or do or have. And money is part of it. Money might even be a big part of it. I can feel money on its way to me. And I'm grateful for it even as it begins to flow. And I'm proud of myself for the work that I am doing. And I'm eager to improve where I am. And I'm happy where I am. I'm doing
feeling good, I just like, hey, today's gonna be a good day. I'm in alignment with the new me. Today's gonna be a good day. I'm in alignment with the new me. Today's gonna be a good day. I'm in alignment with the new me. I finally figured out just who I am and what I want. It's time that my potential makes up for the time I lost. Chasing dreams that weren't mine, planted in my subconscious mind. Always felt like
dance with me,
but I was just learning what's right. And I've taken the time to sit and ponder. What am I doing here with all of life's wonders? Journal and meditate, vibrate higher and resonate. Focus deliberately and create a life I don't want to escape. Hey, today's gonna be a good day. I'm in alignment with the new me. Today's gonna be a good day.
welcome, welcome, welcome to Tranquil Thursdays. I am Warrior Spirit. I am a master healer. I'm a meditation mystic, and I'm a warrior of love. And I do this every Thursday because it's in my passion to give you as much energy and love as I can. We have a special guest today, my brother, Lajolla, aka Tio Pips. We're gonna have a conversation today. So if you wanna join me, you can roll on over here. We're gonna have to be smushy together now.
Right.
I might have to turn my background off here.
Very good, very good.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna work this out because
We're good.
everyone's on the Zoom too, so.
All right.
Well, let me see if I can take this off so that we can have the background. I don't even know.
Behind the shield.
I know. One moment, and then we're gonna get
You
started.
have to put the force field off.
Technical difficulties. The force field. How do I change the force field? Oh no.
Oh, you can go arrow. Then
Ah. Ta-da! Here we go, here we go. Now we are good.
There we go.
So, I wanted to have you on tonight, especially you're a guest in my home tonight. I wanted to share in the wisdom that you have to offer for people too. Every time we get together and every time we have a conversation, I feel like we both learn things from each other, and you know, we move into a flow that is exceptionally interesting, and there are breakthroughs that happen. The energy is beautiful. I've always appreciated you. You have given me many breakthroughs, with even simple things to all the way to non-simple things. And so, you know, one of my first questions for you is just maybe you can you just tell a little bit about your story and who you are for the people who may not know you.
Awesome, cool. Thank you so much for having me here. I also thank the Supreme and the universe because originally I was going to hang out in Germany, and I learned to go with the flow. Sometimes there will be detours that you may not seem to like, but then once you understand that and accept it and just kind of like, okay, I surrender, everything else just flows so much better. And I ended up over here. And so I was like, okay, cool. And then, you know, I gave you a call. I was like, hey, you know, let me just catch your place for a day. You're like, just come on over.
Yeah.
So a little bit about me. Where do I begin? So it has been an interesting journey just in life in general. And just kind of like piggyback what you were saying earlier. We're always giving and receiving. So I learn a lot from you as well. You know, when you share something, you're giving and then I'm on the receiving end, and then I take that and then I process it, and then in turn I give and then you receive it. So this not just only happens between you and me, it just whoever that we talk to, it's always going to be a give and receive kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just for you, so you know, I know your story and your backstory, but the you know, my audience doesn't. And I wanted you to just start off a little bit from when you were young and you know,
Sure.
your parents and your beginning stories and how you know, how you've reached the level of spirituality and knowing and energy that you are right now.
Okay, sure. So mom and dad, they are so growing up, I was raised in a Buddhist household. And so at the same time, I always refer to them as my hippie Buddhist parents. And I actually went to Catholic school.
Oh, wow.
But
I don't think I even knew that.
yeah, so so that they put me in Catholic school, and it's because they were so open that they're like, you can believe in whatever you want to believe, as long as you grow up and to do the right things. And along the way, my dad would always, like, both my mom and dad, whatever they learned, they would pass on little bits and snippets to me, like certain prayers and mantras. I've had my fair shares of handwriting or hand copying scriptures as well. And I learned about, I was fortunate, looking back, I was fortunate to be able to learn meditation at an early age.
Absolutely.
And so, but it wasn't always consistent because, life happens, but my dad drilled it into me. And one of the things that he taught me was, like, even if you might seem like you're doing a lot, but just little by little, whether it's a prayer or mantra or something, you have a spiritual piggy bank. You put it in little by little by little by little.
I love that.
And eventually, that piggy bank it's almost kind of like a plant pot. Once it gets full, you might need a bigger piggy bank. So then you have to put it into a bigger piggy bank. Same thing with a plant too. And then eventually, you because there's no barriers for this piggy bank, so to
Absolutely.
speak. But at the same time, if we're talking about spiritual energies, right, and learning, this is something that it has taken me years to take bits and pieces from here and there to finally, like, connect the dots. And
Same.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like, there are those who are fortunate, like certain cultures, like in Thailand, where they would take the youth and put them into the monasteries really, really early, or same thing I think in Tibet too. And so now we're going to combine a little bit with science, because when I listened to NPR radio years ago, they interviewed the Dalai Lama, and he said that, if we're able to combine science with spirituality, we're actually going to be able to unlock a lot of questions.
Yes.
We'll have a lot of answers. And so kind of backtracking on that. So the reason why it's important to learn about this at an early age is between the ages of, I forget, between after 7, 8, 9, or 10, your skull starts to develop, but before that, it's kind of soft. And so my dad would tell me, like, he would tell me in Chinese that he would call this the sky cap. So when your sky cap closes, in science, they say when your skull is fully formed, like the connection to the heavens or the universal knowledge is limited. When you drill that, at an early age, that's why, like, you heard of the third eye and you heard of this chakra, the crown chakra. So there are ways to develop it and to keep it open so that you maintain connected. And I think, meditation is one way. So the more we exercise that, use those techniques and things, we're going to be able to keep that door open.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of techniques, especially over the last, a bunch of years in general. I mean, I've learned several different techniques that I pull out of my toolbox all the time when I'm doing that as well. Breath work is a really powerful one. I mean, even exercise.
Yes.
The way that, you can do meditative walks, meditative, drop into your being while you are doing these actions. That has catapulted me in my energy as well. And I mean, doing meditation every day, and now I've been doing it twice a day, sometimes even more, most of the time twice a day for a long period of time now, it has really shifted my awareness, and I truly believe like being able to choose you in those moments and drop into your internal being is how we learn the most about ourselves.
You know, the cool thing about meditation is that it could be anything. It could be, you could be raking the leaves and just get into a zone. I could be washing the dishes and just be like, I can just be so immersed into like washing the dishes or the plate. So that really is like being in the now, because I used to hurry up and wash the dishes, worry about the outcome,
I used to hate the dishes.
And then, but now it's like, I enjoy doing the dishes because I'm just like, okay, taking my time, to do circle motion, just like the beauty of the circles and everything,
And that's why you're downloading messages as well, when you give yourself that Zen time and you root into what you're doing in the moment.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot about pieces like that from you as well, as reminders and constant reminders through our conversations. We've talked, T here in Zoom says that she enjoys doing dishes, and I feel that same way. And on a real level, most of my life, I literally hated it, where it would bring me so much anger and just like over the dishes, like, you know what I mean? Now I look back and it's comical, and now a lot of the times I'll wash the dishes instead of putting them in the dishwasher, and I find myself finding it funny at this point, like, look at me, I'm over here enjoying these menial tasks that I used to dread so much.
So, and a lot of it has to do with our tendency to rush because we're on by time. I gotta hurry up and do this and do that. If you really take the time aspect away from everything, like when I was in China in 2019, I was over at Xinjiang area. So basically it borders Russia, China, Kazakhstan.
Wow.
And so basically China, Russia, Kazakhstan, Mongolia.
Oh, wow.
And so over there, the sun sets at 10 o'clock at night and 6 in the morning. However, the people, they didn't have watches or anything. So as soon as the sun rises, they start doing their work. 10 o'clock, like right before, they work all the way up until sun set, and then they'll put up their tents and everything.
Wow.
And the thing is, they were so happy, and so I took that back, and then now I'm teaching, like whenever I have the boys help me wash my car, and just being immersed in washing the cars, washing the wheel, and washing the bumper and the lights and everything, not rushing what you're doing and being present. That is in itself could be a meditation and very relaxing. And there are times where I've had amazing ideas and thoughts come to me when I'm just taking my time doing something. I'm like, and now I have to make conscious effort. Let me write this down before I forget.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. And I mean, it's like same with the dishes, or even during exercise, or, when I'm riding my bike, or I'm running, or I'm walking, or, meditative showers, these are the times where the best ideas come through, because you're at a peace with yourself. And that's created by bringing yourself to that now moment and being able to recognize that the present is, where we create.
So if you want to kind of break it down even more scientifically, so we have different brain waves. So from when we're sleeping to deep sleep, we go through a couple of phases. And the only one that I know that when we meditate is the equivalent to that of, I think, I'm forgetting, it's either a little bit past REM, so it's theta.
Yes.
Theta state.
Yes.
So when we are in theta state, that's actually when it's our subconscious or higher self is more receptive. And that's the best time to do manifestation, to do meditation and things like that.
Yeah, and then I mean, speaking of that, right before sleep is the most supple time for you to feel that, fill your subconscious with what it is that you want to create, your dreams, your goals, your wishes, the things that you desire most. The time right before sleep is one of the most important times for that. You know, because and I've talked about it many times, and the gurus and a lot of the leaders that I know speak about that as well. And, you know, a lot of people used to just, you know, they would lay there in bed and think about all the problems that they've had, you know, before sleep, all the problems of the day, all the things they didn't do, the things they didn't get to do. And so when they're sleeping, those are the things that are cooking in it. I call it cooking in the kitchen, you know, because as you're flooding your subconscious with those thoughts and you're lulling off to sleep, it's creating for you what's going to exist the next day. So that's an even deeper piece of that concept of being able to be in intention in the present moment, to be actively creating, especially, you know, before sleep is a pinpoint time for that.
It's cool because it's funny that you mentioned that. So before I actually understood most of this, a high school friend of mine used to tell me, like when I would have some type of, you know, like during school, you know, kids, so you go to different stages of life, but then you also have different types of challenges and dramas in different stages of life too. So one of my friends in high school used to say, go home, go to sleep, you wake up, start a fresh, brand new day. Whatever it is that happened yesterday, forget about it. It's gone already. The next day, it's totally brand new. And then so I started to do that, and
Absolutely.
you know, it was so much better. And so kind of like piggybacking, going back to what you were saying about before you go to sleep. So this is something that I do as my nightly routine. So I love preparation, because what my next day is going to be, or next week is going to be, I use my imagination.
Absolutely.
So tomorrow, okay, if I know that I'm going to, let's say I prepare myself for ride with MS. So every year I do a ride for MS. So as I get closer and closer, every night, even during the daytime, I would do my cycling. But during the nighttime before the next day, I would imagine myself on my bike riding that 15 miles. And in my mind, I would imagine myself the route that I'm going to take. And so that's just one aspect of it. And I'm sure there are a lot of other professional athletes that also do the same thing too. And I've heard that, like they would imagine, I actually read this, that so they separated two teams, one that would only visualize doing free throws for 2 weeks, and then the other would do the physical one. And afterwards, which one do you think did better?
The visualization.
The visualization.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, you know, this does bring me to one of the concepts that we did learn recently, which was, you know, we moved our bodies all the way to the left, and this was taught to us at our conference that we just went to. We moved our bodies all the way to the left as far as we could. And then we closed our eyes and imagined ourselves being able to move our bodies even further than we did. And then when we went to attempt to move our bodies, we were able to move further. So, I mean, these things are, they're simple concept, but it's to prove to you, you know, that the power of visualization is everything. And what you're saying about imagination keys into subjective control for me, because, you know, the power of your imagination, that's the God within you, you know, and that keys into me because I believe in the concept. I've worked with the concept, you know, for almost 2 years now of subjective control, and imagination is everything. You know, one of the things I always say is, like, you know, childlike, you know, to hold on to that childlike wonder, that childlike energy, that childlike fortitude, that joy that's undescribable to us as adults, but we were there once as well. The more we can hold on to that, the more we can really feel into that imaginative power that we really have.
You know, when you mentioned that, it made me think, because there's an exercise that I actually had learned from my martial arts teacher, and it was actually a combination of imagination and intention. And so I think recently, in the last year or two, that we've been taught a lot about intention,
Yeah, absolutely.
that intention with manifestation. So there was an exercise that I actually that I learned that I also taught, and I still teach periodically. This is more in person, and so what I would do is I would have folks standing up, and basically I would have them close their eyes and imagine that you're at a crosswalk. Now, physically, you're not going to move. You're only going to move in your mind, and I'm just observing. And so it's simple red light, green light exercise. So right now, in your mind, your eyes are closed, you're standing up, you're at a crosswalk, and it's red light. And then when I say green light, you're gonna go, you're gonna walk, you're gonna cross the street, and you're gonna do this, all of this in your mind. And so they would stand still. And so when I say green light, go, in their mind, they walk in, and you can see their body move forward a little bit with the eyes closed. Okay? And what happens is that your intention in your mind, you're walking, it's firing all these neurons, engaging these muscles. You're wanting to walk forward, but you're also at the same time, you're holding your body still. So that is a really powerful intention exercise that ties in with the neurons.
Yeah.
And so when my teacher taught us that, I was like, wow, this is amazing. So my martial arts teacher actually has spent a lot of time and energy to research all of this stuff. So anyways, that was actually an eye-opener for me, because now when I had learned this from one of our teachers who talked about manifestations, I was like, oh darn. Yeah.
Well, I mean, when it comes to manifestation, for many, many years, I thought, okay, you think it and you get it,
Mhm.
and so there was pieces that were missing, because there's actually more steps than that, like what you're talking about. You're visualizing, you're thinking it, you're speaking it, you're writing it down, the visualization and those pieces together, and then you're feeling the feeling as if you already achieved that in which you want to manifest. And with all those steps combined is how you can truly create that forward momentum into what you want to create.
See, the great thing about today's day and age is we have the terminology, the description to paint the picture in people's minds. Because in the old days, the master would tell you, you feel it? Feel what? What am I supposed to feel? Because they don't know, they don't have the words to tell you what are you supposed to be feeling. They don't have the words to describe to you what are you supposed to do.
Yeah.
But what I just explained earlier, okay, in your mind, picture that yourself at a crosswalk. Okay, now close your mind, don't move, just walk. And then now we have words like neurons, neural pathways,
Oh yeah.
right? So now people are like, oh, okay, I get it now. But in the old days, they just called it, oh, chi. You feel the chi, use a chi.
Like, what's chi?
What is a chi? So it's like, I'm going like this. Do you feel it? I think so. Yes,
maybe
no,
a
maybe.
little.
I don't know. And so that's why a lot of information and lessons were lost in the old days, because it wasn't like, even though you can teach them verbally, but there was maybe you weren't able to understand it because there wasn't the right words or right ways to describe what was being taught. Even though you're
Absolutely.
passing it with words, but then you can physically, like, there's inside, you can't see all this, and there's like inside internal stuff. Like a good example, like if I'm pushing you right now, you can feel some resistance, right? Some pressure on there. But people back then, they don't know how to explain that. Okay, there's some pressure, there's a weight in that.
And then that brings me back to what you were saying about spirit science, because when you can combine it, and there's actually something called spirit science that you can go on YouTube and watch many different lessons, which blew my mind. Is a really good resource. But spirit science, once I learned about the combination, it did illuminate much more ideas and give the ability to understand the concepts in a different way. And it has a lot to do with what you're saying about the words, having the right words to key in to what we're doing. The more that we can move forward and being able to teach that, step by step techniques and here's a 3-step, here's a 4, these are the things that are gonna bring it forth for more and more and more people to understand the concepts. And I mean, I think that that is, I know that for me, that is one of the most major pieces of why I do these things. And you know, I know that you're in the same realm of servant leadership where you desire to assist the collective as well.
And there's actually no end for this type of knowledge because, so I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. So in my youth, when I was 5 years old, my mom and dad, they took me to a monk, a master of Hua, to have me be accepted as a student. So he has lots of students. And so he founded a temple in Ukiah, California, which is still existent to this day. It's called the City of 10,000 Buddhas.
It's amazing.
And so a lot of the abbots or the monks that are there, they hold, before becoming a monk, they were master degree, PhD graduates.
Mm.
Basically, they learned the highest education that they can in universities, and they wanted to continue to learn more, but they didn't know where to go. What did they turn to? They went to the monastery. They turned to spirituality because there's so much more to learn beyond. It's like vast amounts of knowledge. And when I heard that, I was really not surprised, but surprised at the same time. I was like, wow. So, you know, when it comes to this type of knowledge, there's no ending. There's so much. Like we like even the masters that have gone before us, like they're no longer here, like they have not completed anything, you know?
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
I really feel into that and know that, you know, where we are constantly learning. And the more that we're opening ourselves to these concepts, the more we know, the more we realize we don't know anything,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's a constant learning.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most beautiful part of that realization of why we're here. You know, in general, this is why we're here.
I mean, we could talk about this nonstop. Like there's so much, like, so here's a perfect example. On my way back, the plane ride was about 9 hours. And I know it wasn't a coincidence. So the gentleman sitting next to me, I happened to just struck up an amazing conversation with him. We talked about all of this stuff that we're talking about, from spirituality to metaphysics and everything. And let me tell you, that 8-9 hours felt like 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's amazing. You did tell me a little bit about that conversation, and it was extremely interesting.
Yeah.
If you want to share a little bit, I mean, most definitely.
I don't know how long we're gonna be here. We might be here all night.
Usually probably about 8:45, and then we'll do a meditation.
So I'll do my best. Ah, man. So he shared a little bit of his story with me, and he said that when he was 8 years old, he was exposed to a profession. So basically, he's an insurance person by profession. But when he was 8 years old, his father, you know, brought him to the room and sat down, and he had there was an insurance man with him, and he right there and then he's like, "Wow, this is what I want to be." And so from the age of 8, he already knew what he wanted to be. And so when he was at the proper age, I think 18 to be licensed or something, he went to, there was an agency or the workplace down there. He lived in, I think it was, I forgot where it was, like in the Pure Council or somewhere. And so as he was there, waiting for the interview, he saw a first gentleman that was an Indian man with a suitcase and a suit, and he walked past him into the office. And then I guess it was time for him to go in. And so when he went in, he was like, "How can I help you?" He said, "Oh, I'm here to inquire about this position." And they're like, "Oh, we're sorry. Looks like I see that your name is here, but you didn't make it." He said, "Why?" He said, "Well, this is how it is because we only accept 20 and you're just 21. You just missed one." And so he was like, "Okay." So he went back out, but he didn't leave the building. He just sat back down. He was like, "No, it can't be, right?" He was like, "No, but I really want to do this." And then moments later, a second gentleman came in, the Chinese man came in, also with a suit, and that's, I guess, the second assistant manager or something. And so the assistant manager was like, with the secretary, oh, who's that? He's like, oh no, he just went in with the first interview, but he didn't make it. What's he still doing here? I don't know. So he walks over to him and he asked what's he doing here? He's like, so he told him his story that since the age of 8, he knew that this is what he wanted to do. Like, he was so passionate about it that the second guy was like, okay, follow me. So he took him into the room back to the first manager's office, and the first manager was shocked. Was like, what is this? And he goes, I want you to put him on the list. He goes, hey, you should know, we already can qualify 20 already. We can't have more than that. He goes, just put him on the list. I will vouch for him. He's on me. And ever since then, like, he's been successful after that. But he was telling me that because he knew with everything in his heart that what he wanted to do, that was one aspect of it. But the second thing was that he told me was perseverance. It was never ever give up. And that's, what was so powerful. This was for him to tell me on the plane, never give up, was some of the other messages that I had received from when we were in Croatia, from our convention. Never give up, keep persisting. I was like, wow. And when we're aligned like this, when all of the cause, the consciousness is aligned, and there's going to be that connection.
So synchronicity.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely. And I mean, that is a really powerful thing, that alignment, and you can feel it in your energy field. When you speak about it, when you're interacting with it. Perseverance is one of the most important pieces, like relentless energy, resilience, and relentlessness as well. And if you know within your soul, and you keep moving little by little every day, you will reach your goal. You just will.
So something else that was cool too. So as I thanked him for imparting his wisdom to me, he was don't thank me. He was thanking the supreme consciousness. And I was like, wow. Even right now, I had chills. And I was like, wow. And it was a reminder because we always talk about your higher self, like that. I never really took it to the next level of the supreme, all of us. Because he was reminding me.
It is all of us.
And telling me that each and every one of us, we all have the God thought in one of us. It doesn't matter how you say it. It could just be. That's why he always references it as the supreme, our supreme consciousness, our supreme self, our supreme soul.
So it's kind of like this sacred geometry where each point represents us, one of us, but all of it together is the supreme. All of us together is the supreme.
And if you pay attention, right, if you're aware that not just in one area, but like many parts throughout the world, you have the collective, like when everyone congregates at a church or a temple or at just any type of spiritual practices, when they're all together, they're actually connecting their minds together as one. And now I understand what the meaning of mastermind is.
Yeah,
the power of mastermind, because 2 is better than 1, 3 is better than 2, and so on and so on and so on. So the more that we have, the more alignment that we're gonna have. And like, I don't know about you, but every time that we have within a certain grace period before or after, like we'll have conversations before 1 or 2 days, and literally wherever the speakers were on stage, when they say something, we're like, we just talked about that last night. Like, whoa.
Absolutely.
It's like, whoa, we just talked about this morning. It's like, whoa, and they're talking about it on stage.
Yeah, there's so much synchronicity, and the energy of creating that mastermind is one of the most powerful things that I've learned. I myself have, I attend many different events, and the energy that I feel there is why I continue to attend events. the mastermind of energy that's created, like 1 is better than 2, 2 is better than 1, you know, and then, you know, you go and go. The more people that we have of like mind that we're gathering, we're speaking on how we can elevate one another, how we can help one another, how we can achieve that vibration of understanding of our own being in order to move forth in you know, how we can assist the collective to reach the different points of their own internal release, you know. And this is part of what we're creating here on a daily basis. You know, this is why I do this, for example, to pass on and share as much vibrationally, because through this conversation we've had now, we've infused it with our energy, we've infused it with love, we've infused it with that energy that we've created and taken from the mastermind of energy, you know. And each day that we do these things, we're pushing that forth into the collective, you know, like you were saying about how we are all one, you know. That is the concept, that unity is how we are all going to elevate together.
See, in the old days, you had books. I mean, we still have books. I think this is just a modern way of a book, but we're just preserving it in digital format, so that the future generations, when they look at this, they have at least a reference guide of, oh, okay, because now we you know, I think different times, like back then, all we have were books, and before books, it was oral transfer, you know, and so it has to be precise. And now, since we're able to use technology to record it and preserve it, then it can be as direct and precise as possible, hopefully.
Yeah, and I mean, like, we can, you know, if you lived in this area, we could do this all the time.
Yeah.
Because there's so much to discuss. There's so many different concepts to piece through. And I mean, you know, I would love to do this again with you. Even if you're not here with me, we can do a, you know, where you jump on the Zoom, or you jump on the Instagram Live. You know, this was really enlightening. And I appreciate you
Thank you
coming
so much for
on
having
and
me.
being here and having this conversation with us.
No, we must thank
The Supreme. Yes. I'm going to do a guided meditation now. We're going to do a guided meditation on self-awareness, and then we'll end with a prayer, and then we'll be good. So thank you so much, Lajolla. I appreciate you being on, aka Tio Pips. Thank you so much.
Just thank you.
Yeah, if you want to do the meditation, you can. It's up to you. Okay, let me put on a little bit of music here. And we're going to do a meditation on self-awareness if you want to get into a comfortable position. We're going to begin with our 3 deep breaths, in through the nose and hold, and slowly out through the mouth to center our being. Welcome to this sacred space of self-awareness, where the light of consciousness illuminates the depths of your being. Find a comfortable position, allowing your body to relax and your mind to soften. Close your eyes and continue taking deep, grounding breaths, feeling yourself fully present in this moment. As you continue to breathe, visualize yourself standing on the shore of a serene, crystal clear lake. The surface of the water reflects the boundless sky above, mirroring the expansive nature of your own consciousness. Feel the gentle embrace of the breeze against your skin, carrying with it the whispers of self-awareness and inner wisdom. As you gaze upon this tranquil lake, sense the depths that lie beneath its surface. These depths represent the vast landscape of your inner being. The thoughts, the emotions, the sensations that shape your experience. Know that within you resides the power to explore and cultivate self-awareness, to journey into the depths of your own consciousness. Turn your attention inward to the center of your being. Imagine a radiant flame of light glowing within your core. This flame represents the eternal spark of consciousness, the essence of your true self. With each breath, feel this flame growing brighter and more vibrant, expanding to fill every cell of your being. As this inner flame illuminates your being, it casts a gentle light upon your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. Observe these aspects of your experience with curiosity and compassion, like a wise and loving witness. Without judgment, simply notice the thoughts that arise, the emotions that flow, the sensations that pass through your body. Allow yourself to step back from identification with these thoughts, emotions, and sensations. Recognize that you are not these fleeting experiences, but the aware presence that observes them. Embrace the spaciousness and stillness that exists beneath the surface of your thoughts. For it is here that self-awareness resides. In this space of self-awareness, ask yourself, who am I? Listen deeply without the need for immediate answers. Allow the question to penetrate the layers of your being, opening the doorway to deeper self-discovery. Be receptive to the insights and wisdom that may arise, even if they come in subtle whispers. As you cultivate self-awareness, notice the tendencies of your mind, the patterns of thought and narratives, and the judgments that arise. Without attachment, gently bring your attention back to the present moment, to the sensation of your breath and the beating of your heart, knowing that this anchor of presence can guide you back to self-awareness whenever the mind becomes entangled in its own stories. Take a few moments to rest in this expansive state of self-awareness. Allow the light of consciousness to penetrate every aspect of your being, guiding you toward a deeper understanding and acceptance of yourself. Embrace the gratitude for the gift of self-awareness. knowing that it holds the key to self-realization and inner freedom. When you are ready, gently bring your awareness back to the present moment. Take a deep breath, feeling the clarity and presence of self-awareness flowing through you. Open your eyes, carrying this essence with you into your day, knowing that self-awareness is the gateway to discovering the profound depths of your own being. Namaste. Thank you all so much for meditating with me today. We're going to end with my favorite prayer. My favorite prayer is from the Rig Veda, which is an ancient text of a collection of Sanskrit hymns about mid to first millennia BCE. So that's before the Common Era. Ante Anandoni. Prayer is called United in Heart. You can rub your hands together with me, activating your chakras. Place them on heart center. May we be united in heart. May we be united in speech. May we be united in mind. May we be united. May we perform our duties as did the wise of old. May we be united in our prayer. May we be united in our goal. May we be united in our resolve. May we be united in our understanding. May we be united in our offering. May we be united in our feelings. May we be united in our hearts. May we be united in our thoughts. May there be perfect unity amongst us. And so it is, and so it shall be. Thank you all for being here tonight, and I wish you a beautiful, amazing, excellent night. And remember, Warrior Spirit loves you.